Thanks for having me today. Bro, you were like so helpful. I learned so much. It was just cool to see what you do.
Today we're in Provo and we're gonna look at Provo, Orem, and something else. I don't know, what is the other? Pleasant Valley, like the one in California? No, that was Spring Valley. Anyway, let's see what Utah has to offer for HouseHack. We're super excited. And there's a little smudge on that lens. I'm gonna clean that off myself. Welcome to Provo, Utah, where the population is about 115,000, but this is crazy. We haven't seen this before. The median income, per capita income, is only $15,970. Now that's probably because this is a college town, which would be good for the traditional form of house hacking, which HouseHack may be open to as well in the future, hence why we're here. Now, poverty rate, and I don't know if that's because everybody in college is just deemed to be poor because the per capita income's so low, but the poverty rate is very high. It's above my traditional threshold. It's 24.6%. Now we're here because it's also next to other cities that we want to visit, like Orem, but we'll see. Do you get a lot of these sort of added on units out here? Because they're what, older homes? These are early 19s or? Got it, I see. Yeah, here you get a whole nother. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Here's the problem with if the entire market is student housing, there's nobody upgrading the homes around you really, right? And I mean, you can kind of see that. It's everything you're going to get is going to essentially be that sort of bare minimum upgrade, potentially. You want to find neighborhoods, if you were going to do room rentals in where you have a mix of homeowners who are living there and willing to upgrade. Like, I wonder how long, I mean, this looks like it just happened. Still got the fresh cost. This happened within the last few days, probably. When they listed this, there probably wasn't a burned down home right next door to it. So yeah, it unfortunately burned down their garage too, next door. It's a bummer for them, but it looks like at least they can still live there. But wow, geez, this is a good old crusty one, brand new crusty one. It's unfortunate. But, you know, the one thing that's actually nice about this, hopefully, obviously, nobody was injured, but now you're going to get a brand new property right next to you on this one. So you're actually now getting forced upgrading here, presumably, unless, of course, they take the money and then they don't upgrade it. So you don't have a guarantee of that. Sometimes people take the money, you leave it as a lot and sell it to somebody else. But eventually, I would imagine somebody would build something new here. So you'll be next to a new place, but then you've also got construction for a couple of years next to you on this one. That's something to pay attention to. So far, I don't like Provo. I'm always very transparent and about my impressions. And ideally, you want to buy the worst house in the best neighborhoods and on the best streets. The problem is every house here is essentially room rental. So the reason the valuations go up is based on room rental cash flow. See, I like being able to go into a market where you don't have everyone doing room rentals, and then what you actually have is the potential upside of higher cash flow because it's not built into the market prices. Everything's just a single family regular rental when it's a rental out there. And then if you decide to turn it into a room rental, great, you get higher cash flow. But out here, that's already being priced into the price. And I don't think people are really motivated to upgrade homes out here because what are you going to put on a nice curb appeal or something? You know, you're going to do the front yard up. You're going to get more money for your room rental? No, not at all. It's not going to increase the rents at all. So why upgrade anything?
The realtors told me Kevin won't like Provo. There's not a lot of long-term rental potential here. As I understand, he's the boss man though. We got to listen to the boss man. He wanted to see houses in Provo. And so I said, you know what? Let's show Kevin what he won't like. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We are accomplishing our mission. We love Provo, but for long-term rentals, not our ideal market.
Hey, by the way, in case you're wondering why I'm traveling for real estate, it's to really become the best expert in all these various different markets for HouseHack.com. That's my real estate startup. We're currently raising money at a 1-to-1 valuation for accredited investors. And if you invest before the month's end, you get some extra bonus warrants, which are kind of like call options to invest more in the future if you want to. You don't have to. Learn more about that at the solicitation at HouseHack.com. But come April or May here in 2023, we should be opening up this investment round to non-accredited investors through a Reg A, which will be very awesome, and we hope you join us in. We'll be raising money at a 1-to-1 valuation, which means for every dollar we raise, that's the valuation of the company. So for example, if we raise $50 million, the company is worth $50 million. So you're really not suffering any kind of brand or company dilution. This is really rare when you're looking at a startup. So we're super excited to be able to offer a company and investments and shares into the company at that 1-to-1 valuation. Now, once that fundraise closes, if our cash flow projections go the way we're looking, we might not have to raise money again for quite a while, maybe not even until we IPO at some point in the future. And knock on wood, we're really excited about the prospects for the company. So we'd love to have you aboard on the journey. Just go to househack.com to learn more.
I'd love to increase cash flow by doing some room rentals, but not here.
What makes it different?
Because I don't think you can really build much equity. Because,
Equity, zero.
well, I mean, you can build equity everywhere as homes appreciate, but every property is a wedge deal. That means there's no wedge deal, you know? So I think that's the harder part is your buyer here is an investor who's looking at it going, what's the bare minimum I can do? Your buyer here is not a home value or a home buyer. So if your buyer is an investor, then the quality of the entire area is going to just continue to decay. And that's riskier. You want to be owning properties in areas where the majority of the people are home buyers. And the reality is 65% of America owns their own home. So in most neighborhoods, you're going to have mostly like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 homes are going to be owned, which is good. If you could get into a neighborhood where 8 or 9 out of every 10 homes is owned, usually those are the most desirable areas. They're the most desirable homes. They're the ones that appreciate the best. They're the ones that sell the fast. They rent the fast. No long-term liquidity issues. You have tenants who stay longer. Here, what do? You go to college and you leave. So it's constant turnover. And not only do you have that constant turnover, but there's no incentive to upgrade these properties because you're surrounded by property owners who only care about room rentals. And so it's no surprise. There are very, very few properties that are upgraded out here. So I don't know. We might cancel anything else in Provo and just get to where we want to be, which is at Orem. I don't know, man. I don't trust the Zillow rental estimates, and that's what he wrote on here. We gotta talk to a property manager. I mean, come on, man. Look at this, dude. I got RVs, I got covered up cars, I got a ton of cars in the driveways, I got trash over here. I get it, you know, it's like the income's lower here, but it's also the type of tenant. So I'm a little worried about that. RVs over here. Lots of RVs here. All right, let's go. Let's get to Orem. Look, I'm sorry. I don't even want to put that agent in the video. I don't want to shout the agent out. I don't want the agent anywhere in that video. Like, he has no idea what he's doing. That's one. Number two, there's no way we would invest here. That's just terrible, man. I don't even want to be here. I'm sorry. Understand exactly why we're not investing in certain areas, because people are also going to ask us, you know, from HouseHack investors, we have to be able to defend to institutions and pension funds or whomever's buying our portfolios. We have to be able to defend why certain properties are in our portfolio. And how can we do that if we haven't been to the areas we're not investing in? Oh, we've never been there. That's why I know we don't invest. Or well, what if there's potential there? Now I know there's not. So, yeah. And I can explain that.
I would say sorry, but like, I'm glad we did this.
No,
like,
we have
this
to
was
do it.
planned.
This is part of the design. We have to see what doesn't work again, so we can explain to investors. We've been there. Here's why it doesn't work, dude. If Orem is like this, I'm getting on the jet and I'm going somewhere else. Fly somewhere else, dude.
She switches houses like every semester.
That's what I'm talking about. Are you serious? Did you catch what he just said? She switches houses every semester. That's exactly like a landlord's worst freaking nightmare. Like tenant screening. There's probably no tenant screening out here, honestly.
Yeah, because they have no credit. They're right out of high school. They just got off a mission, which is even worse. Now they're bankrupt. They got nothing to their name, and you're renting to them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, the place is boarded up. I mean, it makes sense. There's a reason why we generally select markets that have less than 14% poverty, and yeah, I think this was good. And now we're going to, where's the first place? It's in Orem.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So is this BYU?
Yeah.
This looks nice.
These are academia.
What did you call it?
Academia.
The hell is that? Those over there are the academia rooms. That is the academia cafeteria.
See, this is where all the missionaries go to get trained.
What?
Yeah. You think they just ship us out without any training?
Oh, so you have to get indoctrinated first.
Pretty much. You gotta know how to be a missionary.
So wait, you go to that building to learn how to serve your mission?
For 6 weeks.
Wow. So it's like a boot camp for Mormons.
It literally is
A Mormon boot camp.
religious. Like you wake up at 6. You wake up like 6 a.m. or like 7.
I get it. You wake up religiously at 6 a.m.
Yeah, and then you have classes, and then you have study, and then it's pretty intense. Yeah, the missionary training center. That's pretty much what it is.
Now you're a certified frontline Mormon. Hoorah, amen. Hoorah.
I was curious why you picked Provo, but I was like, all right, let's show him what he won't want.
Now we know.
I'm so glad we didn't plan a whole day in Provo. Oh, I was scared you were going to get mad. Like, I wanted to be in Provo all day. I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to call an audible on this one. We're not staying in Provo.
Hey, you might not know this yet, but I've got some incredible programs on Building Your Wealth link down below, especially when it comes to real estate investing, 0 to millionaire real estate, how to get started, how to get your first rental property, your first home to live in, how to negotiate that deal, how to work with agents, how to find agents and contractors, CPAs. Do you need an LLC? How should you form an LLC? All of this information and much more, including money saving tricks and strategies for renovating and making sure you're getting wedge deals so you're increasing your net worth as soon as possible, as well as analysis on actual deals that people are doing in our group. Make sure to check out those programs linked down below. You want to generally start with the 0 to millionaire real estate investing course if you're looking to build your wealth in real estate. Most people end up bundling this with the Stocks and Psychology of Money group, really great for starting off building your wealth. And then folks tend to move on to the do-it-yourself property management and rental renovations group, which is also extremely phenomenal for when you're ready to start scaling your rental portfolio. So check that out via the link down below and make sure to take advantage of the flash sale.
Who decided Provo?
Yeah. So well, on that note, how is this area different from Provo? Because wow, that's I mean, you could only do room rentals over there, huh? That's it. It's just college students.
So UVU, they've got like 45,000 students.
Okay, all right.
BYU is like 35,000. So we got like 80,000 students like packed in this little area.
Oh,
and
yeah,
honestly,
okay. Yeah.
in Provo for the longest time, it's starting to branch out.
Yeah.
But all of them would live just in that south of campus. So BYU, all of them would
right
live
under it.
Would live right in there.
Okay.
And they used
that's
to
where
actually
we started, and we're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. All right.
I can't tell. I don't know who McKay is here, but
he's somewhere in the car. There.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was just like, are you sure? I'm pretty sure not even Orem's going to be like what I think you guys are looking for. I think I think you're more like American Fork, which is kind of up next.
Okay.
Up to like Lehi.
So that sort of distance. Okay.
I think so. I mean, you tell me what you guys are really
that might
looking
be
at.
exactly right. What and why would you say that? What's
You got a lot of tech. I mean,
Okay.
Utah County, we're kind of sandwiched between the lake and you got the mountain here, so we don't have a ton of land, but you got a lot of tech. Down here, you're just going to get a lot more students because that's the college campus. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
But the further north you go, you're going to have, a lot more residential stuff, and then you got all the tech like Adobe, Micron, Texas Instruments.
That's
like
all towards Lehi.
That's all kind of Lehi. So
gotcha.
like, if that's
where do you specialize?
all Utah County.
All of us.
All Utah County. It's not that far. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not.
Out here, it's nice. I would hate to be another place where it's like you can go 2 hours west, east. Here, it's like north, south. That's all we got to deal with. Which
So
is great.
where would you invest if you were looking for longer term sort of
single
family appreciation? You know, something you can little fixer uppers you could build equity in. Where would you be focusing?
It's really, I mean, you're not going to have like a massive difference in Utah County. You will feel that difference though closer to Provo just because of the students.
Got it.
You're going to get more of that. But honestly, anywhere in this area, we don't have a lot of land here.
Yeah.
And all that tech is just packed in there. Sure, Salt Lake County, there's, you got a ton of space in Salt Lake County, but down here we've appreciated, I think, quicker than Salt Lake because there's just nowhere to go. We're spilling out around the lake. So Eagle Mountain, like it's pretty dead out there, but there's a lot of development. A lot of people don't like that drive, but you do have a lot of us, all the new developments are out here because we don't have any more land. There's just nowhere to build over here.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
so they're spilling out down. They've talked about, I don't know if you've read into it, they have like the plans, hopefully they don't do it, but they have the plans to do like massive development on the lake.
Fill in parts of the lake,
Yeah,
basically.
we'll see what they end up doing there.
Okay, just to expand housing.
I live
Got
in
it.
Vineyard.
Oh, that's over here.
that's
Okay,
over
how does
here.
that compare to here?
That is like, Vineyard was the fastest growing city in the nation for like a period of like 6 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so all of it's kind of been new in the last 7 years.
Gotcha. So this is sort of newer construction out here. And then what would you say, I mean, between, let's say, like Pleasant Grove and Orem and River Bottom, where here are your probably best longer term single family where you'd want to grow
Probably
equity?
Pleasant Grove, Linden's kind of, it's very small, but it's really nice areas in Linden. River Bottoms, it's higher end stuff.
Higher end over here by
Higher end in River, yeah.
Is that because it's on the way to?
On the way up the canyon. I don't know if that's why it ended up being, but that's just how it is right now. Larger lots, a lot more expensive homes out that way.
And we're not too far from there now.
No.
Okay.
I mean,
got it.
don't get me wrong. Orem has a lot of crazy pockets where it's like
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like we're in neighborhoods like this, and all of a sudden you go to the next street, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's like a $2 million house compared to like a $400,000 house, and then back all of a sudden you're back into this neighborhood, and then back into the more expensive. So it's very hit and miss.
Got it.
I don't know if the college campuses had anything to do with that over the years as that's developed.
Sure. Got it.
But I would say, yeah, you're
Yeah.
probably Pleasant Grove up to Lehi is a lot more,
Okay.
I think, of what you guys are.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
and
So, I mean, like out here, would you rent these things out long term usually, or is it all rooms out here as well? Kind of like what you
People
s-
still do it. I'm picky on my numbers.
Okay, so
Like,
tell me about what do you do?
I like I don't get excited unless it's 15% cash on cash return.
Okay.
Some
And where
of
are
my
you getting that?
Some of my stuff, I don't know what's going to make it to the final cut.
Sure,
here, but, a lot of my stuff, I like it in Provo, where I like for something like this, I would probably wall this off if I can make another unit down
Yeah.
there. Great. Like I was telling McKay, I was like, I've got like a 1,400 square foot unit that otherwise at max I'd be able to get 18, 17 maybe out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I get $2,700 a month out
Sure.
of it because I got the 2 units.
Each room can almost be chopped up, basically.
I don't even do by the room. I love my perfect demographic that I like is like young married couples.
Okay.
And I try to hit the 2-bed, 1-bath units.
I see. 2 bed, 1 bath. So, like in multifamily, or
Yeah, it's just basement apartment type stuff. It's
see.
very prevalent. City obviously doesn't like that. They would,
Yeah, exactly.
So there is some risk if you're doing like massive,
Yeah,
big
yeah.
fund. That's not what you want to hit.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The returns are amazing.
Sure.
So that's what I like.
Interesting.
The rest of the stuff, I don't know what kind of numbers you like to hit, but
So, but I mean, you're not only doing basements. What do you do with the top of the unit then, or do you just try to put
separate, just another.
just another?
It's
put
just another
couple in
unit.
there?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking at, hey, where can you maybe buy a single and then convert the basement basically into another unit?
A lot of
essentially?
searches I'll try to find out where a single family home that's just like, hey, basement walkout. It's put in there. It's basement walkout. I'm like, cool. I just got to go in. I got to figure out, okay, here's my plumbing. This is where the kitchen can go. Wall this off.
Done.
Downward go. This is a neighborhood where I know we can get away with it. This is not a neighborhood where we can get away with that. So
I
it
see,
just
because the
depends.
neighbors report you or whatever. Yeah. Got it. So so room rental's a strategy. The basement, I've seen that a lot in Utah because you have the basement.
There's a ton, especially around the college campuses. Like other places, you do see it, but not like you see it around the college campus.
Yeah,
Like,
that makes sense.
Everybody is doing it.
Now, what about fixers? How many fixers do you see usually come up? I
like working with wholesalers.
Yeah.
And I feel like nobody hits Utah County very well.
Yeah,
There's a few that
yeah.
do Utah County. I
In
see a
terms of
lot
wholesalers or buyers?
wholesalers.
Okay,
Like the amount of
Yeah.
wholesale deals I see come through are probably like 1 to 8 up in, so 1 for Utah County to every 8 that I see up in like Salt Lake County.
Oh, really?
There's
Oh,
just
wow.
more up there. And so
Yeah.
I think more people focus on that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I mean, there's still stuff down here that's kind of beat up.
Sure.
You guys picked an awesome week
Yeah.
because this is literally the lowest inventory week of our entire year. Like
Nice.
this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the week that we have the lowest. So
Yeah,
it
sure.
was just like, I was like, McKay, I looked at all 24 houses on the market.
Sure.
And you're seeing the 2 that I would have said are more beat up.
Yeah. That's
So-
okay. Well, and they don't have to be perfectly beat up right now. You know, we're
Right.
still 6 months or so, 4 to 6
Right,
months
right,
from starting our buys.
Yep.
It's really, the idea is trying to understand, okay, where are the opportunities to invest? And it seems like if you want to, you could go higher cash flow with like the basements or room rentals, like you mentioned.
Yep.
But one of the things I'm noticing is, for example, in Provo, it seems like the prices already reflect that you can chop it up and rent out so many different rooms.
Yeah. There's a lot of competition down there. So I
Yeah.
used to be one of the top. I don't do it anymore because
Sure.
Zillow's it's just crazy competitive. But I had a few of the zip codes. I was the top agent on Zillow in those
Nice.
zip codes.
Yeah.
And daily, it was always a call from some alumni. I want to invest over there. I've got a kid going to school. I'm going to own it, have them rent out to their friends, have them in there, or hey, when we come visit, I'm just going to have a place to stay there. So you get a lot of that alumni. We kind of have a unique demographic with the local religion here.
That makes sense.
There's a lot of people that are like, we've lived out of state. I want to come back home now. And so I've had so many people like just call to move back home.
Oh wow! So you actually are getting people flowing in. It's not just here for school and
A lot
then
from
out.
California. You guys have added a lot, but
Yeah.
But no, I was just with some guys from Illinois, Chicago yesterday, and like they're
Moving back to like specifically.
They
Orem
actually
or
want
Provo?
some stuff. We were looking at some stuff in Orem.
Okay.
But they wanted some stuff for skiing. But I've had a handful of people who are like, hey, my parents, like a lot of past client, a lot of them are students.
Yeah.
So like, hey,
sure.
my mom, my dad, they're wanting to move back. They want to move out to Utah. They want to have a Utah house to come visit for the BYU games.
And then they can manage it themselves as well because they're just doing one of them because it's just their son or daughter or whatever living there.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I imagine scaling property management with dozens of students potentially and on each block gets a little bit more challenging.
You'll have a lot more shift and turnover. At least now they do a lot more year contracts. In the past, it used to be just by the semester.
Okay.
And honestly, that's a big reason why I'm like, I don't want to do single students personally. Like, sure, I can make more money, but the headache and the hassle,
turnover. Oh my
I hate
gosh.
the turnover.
Yeah. I mean, the management intensity too. My gosh. So you found that doing the top and the bottom, is it management neutral?
I'm okay with that. I love that. Usually Jack and Sally, young married couple, are not looking to mess up their life too early. Come in, they're usually great. The mom and dad are usually, I've rarely had issues with my tenants.
Got it.
Rarely.
Okay.
So I like they come in and it's
And where would you
bad.
buy those?
I like them all around the college campus.
So is that somewhat around here as well?
I was telling McKay, I was like, I've got a vacant unit right now. I was like, I don't know exactly what you're trying to target, but if you want, it's like, I can show you, this is exactly what I like to do. Because
I'd love to see exactly what you do.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's do that. I'll do a super quick walk around
Yeah.
here and then let's go check that out. Because I'm a big fan of understanding, okay, where, you guys know how to make money in your market better than I do because I've never been here before even, know? So what, yeah, I'd love to see that.
Okay.
So this, is this your typical kind of lot size out here? It seems like 10K square feet or something like that. They added on out here.
They're about.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot that's even less than that.
Sure.
Gosh, because this is 0.22 acres, and you can be a lot of 0.12s.
1-2s, really? I mean, now you're down to 5,000-6,000 square feet.
If you're talking like new development, then we have some houses that is like literally go 2 feet off the house around the whole thing, and that's your lot. Hate that. It's maybe more akin to what you guys get out there. I don't know.
Yeah. A little more zero lot line, maybe almost. Okay.
But like older stuff like this, you'll get larger lots. Other things, not as much.
Now, is most of your new construction out where you're living right now? What was that called again?
Vineyard. There has been a lot of new construction. Like I said, it used to be nothing. We went from 500 residents to 30,000 residents in a matter of a few years.
Gosh.
And there was just a ton out there.
Do you get a lot of flippers out here?
Yeah, we have tons. I mean, it got
flippers everywhere.
Flippers everywhere, but I feel like, and maybe it's the same in California, but I feel like in the last 5 years, wholesalers and flippers just started coming out of the woodworks crazy.
Sure. Oh, I mean, you could buy anything, wait 2 months, and it was worth $50,000 more.
You're good. It was a good time for a lot of people. You could be not very professional and make some money for sure.
Now it's gotten a little harder. How has the market been for you guys? Just the last year, really?
We've come down. We've come down a good amount. I mean, I'm guessing the same. It just kind of sucks with the rates. We went from, I loved the 40 offer competition. I loved that. I would take that over.
As an agent, that's fun, man.
I would take that over this. Now it's just we're not competing with each other anymore. We're competing with the rates and the Fed. It's just there's not a whole lot we can do other than twiddle our thumbs until
just get through it, basically.
Seller that can't get through it, we take the opportunity or not.
Yeah. What about rents? Do you see any downward pressure on those out here?
Not yet, but I was watching your video on that, and I'm curious to know when he thinks that's going to roll over. I have 4 turnovers for my stuff right now, so I'm going to see this next month or so what that's going to look like. But typically not. I haven't seen.
Usually
come down at all.
Yeah, so it's just it'll be interesting to see if we see it now, just because of the economy.
every cycle. Well, nobody likes the downs part, but
Well, we got a lot of tech here, so, and there has been a lot of tech layoff, right? So, but I haven't seen that been wide enough to like actually
change anything.
Change anything on that. Like,
yeah, I don't think it's almost like a little bit of weeding. I mean, I hate using that in reference to people, you know, because people
it's
flies
true.
and stuff, but it's what it is, business corporate weeding basically.
I'm constantly asking people like that I know, past clients, like, hey, how'd it go? And they're like, oh yeah, there was a bunch of layoffs here, but none of my department. Like, I'm good. So
Yeah. Okay.
maybe I'm just not connected to the people that are getting laid off. I don't know.
Where is your investment?
So the most recent one that
The
I
one
did
that you
is
wanted to show us.
right here. So we're right here.
Okay, so that's towards Provo a little closer.
8 minutes. Yep.
Okay,
It's literally on the border.
Oh, it's on the border of the
It's
two.
on the border.
Ah, gotcha.
So
Okay.
I like it. I'm right between both campuses. I'm like almost equidistant between both campuses. Not that I picked it for that.
Okay, I was going to ask that.
The numbers.
But you do like being somewhat close to the universities because you're trying to find.
I know.
maybe somebody who's
I know my
graduating.
renter. Like I don't even have a second. Like this is bad, and I don't know what's going to make it in the cut here, but. There's a lot of times where I'm like, I don't even have to screen you guys. Just come on in. Like, here's your parents live up in Alpine, is a nicer area, and I'm like, yeah, come on in. Like, save your $25 for the
credit screening.
The credit screening. I'm like, come in. Like, it makes it super easy. If I was up further north, I'm gonna get like different people all the time, and obviously I wouldn't do that. But it's very easy to see, like, oh yeah, they're going to school.
Got it.
Here's I know exactly what you're studying. Like, it's not a big deal.
Where's Alpine?
Alpine's up in the right up here. Alpine.
Oh, there it is.
Kinda
Okay,
tucked up.
so above Pleasant Grove, basically. Even past Lehi a little bit.
Yeah, Lehi, Highland.
So is
Alpine.
that supposed to be pretty expensive then?
There's some more expensive homes. You know, it's there's not everything out there is incredibly expensive, but you're just further removed from the freeway. Again, everything here is like you're on the freeway.
Yeah.
Like it's very quick to
like
go.
you said, just north south. It's simple.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So for people making money out here, you're either renting rooms, you're renting like a single family as a duplex, basically potentially.
Yep.
Or maybe you're flipping. Where would the long-term rentals be? You'd say that would be more Lehigh or anywhere?
I don't like those numbers.
Yeah.
Personally,
No,
I don't love
the numbers
on
are harder. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, anything is going to rent. Like anything is going to rent.
Sure.
There's not. I mean, there's competition, but there's not that much competition.
Like,
that
what about if
can't-
you go to Alpine?
You probably have a little bit further just because you're a little bit further away from the freeway.
Okay.
I think that's a big draw. Everyone can get to basically anywhere you want. Like the majority of Utah's population is literally in that like hour-and-a-half stretch between where we're at now and like up north.
Sure, Salt Lake. Yeah,
and
exactly.
Salt Lake. So
Here to Ogden, that's it. There's Utah basically. Right?
So closer to the freeway, obviously, will always be. I don't know if it'll necessarily do better, but you're not going to sit as long if you're overpriced on your rent. But I mean, you're going to find. I haven't seen anybody that's like, I can't get this thing rented.
Sure.
Unless
Because most people are commuting to wherever along, and they just want to hop on the highway.
Yep.
I see. Okay.
But again, if you're talking like, I want more, like I don't want to have like a bunch of 6 kids constantly like trying to rent my place out. You're going to get that way more here than you would up north.
Interesting.
Like
Okay.
in the northern Utah county.
Got it. You get the applications that are like, hey, we're a group of 6 people. I see.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's like,
okay.
can me and 4 of my buddies come and rent the place? And it's
see.
like, no.
Yeah.
I can't say that, but
Okay.
I don't want it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Very well. Let's go see what you're doing. I'd love to see it. Hey man, thank you so much for coming out and shadowing. Shout yourself out. Tell everyone about you and your YouTube channel, your business, and all the creative things you do, especially the creative business ownership.
Yeah, so man, thanks for having me today. Bro, you were like so helpful. I learned so much. It was just cool to see what you do. But yeah, so I'm Abraham Gray. I have my own YouTube channel, Abraham Gray. I do a ton of business buying. I do a ton of real estate. I own hundreds of properties. And I do, some business masterminds a few times a year. But if you follow me on YouTube, Abraham Gray, you'll find out everything. I make a few videos every single week that talk about how to buy businesses with no money, how to do real estate with no money, how to build rapport, how to better your life. So definitely check it out.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming out here.
Yeah.
And enjoy your speaking event this weekend, because that's this weekend,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. My
That's
event's this
awesome.
weekend. Yeah, so it's gonna be a blast.
That's awesome. Good luck, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for being here.
So this was a duplex.
Okay, yeah.
Interesting scenario on it.
Yeah.
This side does not have a basement. That one did. Currently, and I'm a little low on mine right now, but 1450, 1450, and 1450.
Oh wow, everything 1450. Okay.
Yeah.
got it. Wow.
And I have some clients that have the same, like, this is a very common, I mean, that's the same duplex, that's the same duplex, that's the same duplex.
Yeah,
that's the
sure.
same. There's all very common layout.
Okay.
And I have some tenants just up here, a couple blocks that getting 1800 for the same space, and I'll show you what that space looks
wow.
like. This one, this is like my bread and butter type. It's the 2-bed, 1-bath. I get young married couple in, and this one's also nicer than some of the other ones. So
Yeah, I mean the 2-inch faux wood. You've got the, and it's like a 3.5-inch base. It's nice craftsman style. I love the floor color you chose. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, simple. Yeah, no, this is really easy.
yep.
Yeah, yeah, you did a good job.
Thanks.
It looks perfect.
I did more than I should have, and I knew it, but I was like, whatever.
No, I mean this is great. Yeah. Wow.
So I have some that are like a lot less. Like I have some. There's a basement unit I have down in Provo. Not a super awesome.
I just bought these too. They're just this. You just stick up there.
the tenants put that on. I came and I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah. They just. I mean, okay. Yeah, I
figured I'd leave it.
may as well. Yeah, that's interesting. They just stuck it up there. Yeah, it was like a 2-pack for like $14, and you could just peel off the back
And you
sticker,
smack
stick
it
it
on,
on, and then you have a paper towel holder.
I mean, it was holding good, so I was like, I'm not going to take it off. I guess it fits. It works.
It works, yeah. Wow. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead with what yours.
So I was just saying, the basement unit, I got one in Provo, not nearly as nice as this one, but basement unit,
Yeah.
literally, gosh, maybe 75% of this size, even less, a lot less than this one actually.
Yeah.
Lot tighter, and I'm still getting like $12.50 out of that basement
Wow.
on that
Wow.
one.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't know.
And how long do the tenants usually stay?
Mine typically a year,
Okay.
sometimes a little bit more. I've had people that stay longer.
Right. So, but usually every year you.
They're still going to like camp to BYU and everything, or UVU.
Got it.
And honestly, I'm okay with that because every time I get a turnet, I live here close by. I get it. I'm constantly up on my rents typically.
Sure. Well, now you're raising the rent back to market.
Yep.
And an appreciating market.
In
That's
fact,
nice.
a lot of mine I actually encourage. I'm like, hey, if you need to leave early, let me know. Just give me
Wow.
enough heads up notice.
Yeah.
And then as long as I have no days of vacancy, because
Sure.
I just know automatically it's like, boom, I get my next rent. There's
exactly.
the non-refundable portion of the deposit anyway that I get to keep.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, I constantly get to stay up on my rents and I have to
Exactly.
deal with it.
Yeah. And so, what about? Well, yeah, and because you're doing 2-in-1s, you don't have a lot of fix up in between. Really, you shouldn't have much of it at all.
Sometimes I was like,
Zero.
this is good enough. I don't,
Yeah.
nothing.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
next person in.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about any tenant issues? Do you ever run into just lates or no pays or evictions, or what's that like out here?
Very few.
Few out here.
Very
really?
few.
Wow.
Like I said, they're usually Jack and Jill, BYU,
Yeah.
UVU couple, and usually not looking to mess things up in their life this early. Like they're trying to actively pursue like a career and be good, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I've had 1, 2, I think.
2 evictions or
I've not had no evictions.
no
I've never
evictions?
had any evictions.
Just 2.
Two people that were just like, okay. And one of them was like, hey, we have to leave. Actually, both told me like, hey, we have to leave early. We can't make the payment. And both of them were like within the last month of their tenancy.
Oh, and it's just disappeared basically.
Yeah.
Self-evicted.
Self-evicted
Yeah.
and not much issue there. So
Wow.
no, it's been pretty good. So and that's why I do like this area for that. I mean, I've got a handful of clients that I helped buy in Salt Lake, and I was up in Ogden earlier this week. And I don't know, different renter demographic.
In Ogden. So tell me about that. Why are they a different renter?
They live more up there. So
Okay, so
the renter demographic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ogden is just kind of like a cheaper city. Like
Really?
pricing up
Okay.
there is a lot cheaper. I
Cheaper than here.
a lot cheaper than here.
Wow. Okay.
I'm trying to think of like how to put it nicely. Like Ogden is kind of like a little bit more of like, I'm gonna offend people, but like more like the armpit of Utah. I feel like it's just
sure.
there's good places in Ogden, but there's definitely a lot of places in there. It's just like this is kind of like a little bit more run down.
Got it. So you couldn't universally say like, oh, great area, basically. Like, to invest
Yeah,
in.
I mean, I don't know if you could say that about any area.
I
But
guess,
for sure more Ogden than I would say down here.
Okay, but I mean, like, if you compare it to say, and I don't know that you sell there, but like Sugar House, for example, in Salt Lake.
Salt Lake, up around
Like,
Salt Lake.
some of that, the eastern side of Salt Lake seems to be pretty stable.
Oh, that's a nice area.
Seem to
Sugar
really
House.
enjoy that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
So how does Ogden compare to that?
Oh, I
Insurance.
mean, completely different. You've got way more money, Sugar House.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've never personally had tenants in Sugar House, so I couldn't tell you like how that is versus Ogden tenants, but I would imagine I have a lot less issue in Sugar House than I would in Ogden, depending where I'm at in Ogden.
Yeah, and that's even despite the fact that you don't have colleges there, but it's just a different type of campus.
I mean, there is one up in Ogden, and they have, but can't remember how many. It's Weber State, and I don't remember how big their student body is. But down here, it's like UVU is the highest student bodied campus in Utah.
Okay.
And I think Utah is like second or BYU is second or third on that list. So we have just so many more students than they have there, or even up at Utah State.
Got it. And how about like St. George? Like, let's say, how did
there have been a handful of people I know like to go down there.
is that just
with
sort of
college.
temporary kind of?
You get a lot more like snowbird type, I feel like.
Okay.
I mean, there's still a lot of people down there, but I mean, the college campus isn't, if you're talking about college campus, like they're not anywhere near the size we are up here.
Got it.
I've run a few numbers over there over the years.
Yeah.
Looked at a few like vacation rental in St. George, but
Sure.
they have so many restrictions on like
Yeah,
short-term stuff that I'm just like, I don't want to play that.
Do you do
game.
any Airbnbs or?
I'm actually gonna be converting this one to it.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna slowly start shifting them over because I'm like, this one's nice enough.
Yeah.
My neighbor has like 15 Airbnbs out around, and he's just like, oh yeah, change that over. You'll probably get X amount on it. So I was like, you know what, that sounds good.
Are you seeing an excess supply of Airbnbs right now at all, or not really?
Um,
Not in this area?
I don't typically do. I run all my numbers based on long-term rents, and if that works,
Sure.
then I'm good to
That's the safe way to do it.
play around. I don't
Exactly.
mess around with my numbers.
Good.
But based on things he's told me, he's like, yeah, it's kind of getting there, but
Okay.
it's moving more to. It seems like towards more unique stays. More
Yeah,
than just-
experience stays, sure.
Than like a house in the middle of a neighborhood. I need a place to stay, right?
Okay, so does that make you nervous at all then about Airbnb this?
Not really,
You have
because
to furnish it.
yeah, it's okay if I have to furnish it. I think at the end of the day, I'll probably, at worst case, I'll still at least break even on it compared to what I would have gotten long-term rent anyway.
I see.
And I just know the upkeep's going to be better.
On the Airbnb, the upkeep will be better of the
I imagine so. If I got a cleaner in here, like I said, I
okay.
haven't done any of it. I have clients that do it.
Sure,
They do well. For my stuff, I'm like, for now, I'm just going to run them as long-term
Right,
rents.
yeah.
I'm okay with that. I've got too much I got to do elsewhere. Now I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, let me shift around. Let me test pilot on this one and then slowly convert all mine to it if it makes
Well,
sense.
it's just maybe also because at the same time there's transactional volume going on maybe right now across the board, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So now, basically, is Freeway here? Or?
So that's State Street.
State Street.
The way we came in was really wonky.
Okay.
It took us on the back road, but this is like State Street between Orem and Provo. And so a very heavily trafficked road right there.
Yes. But they got this big sound wall. It's
Yeah.
sitting above us. We're under it. Okay.
You still hear, but nobody,
Sure.
tenants aren't going to care.
It's actually pretty nominal.
Yeah.
So okay, and then 2 beds here, and but there's no basement under us, right?
No basement.
Okay.
I thought about having my contractor start digging, but
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not
Excavate it.
going to push my luck quite yet.
Yeah. This is. You did a great job. This is.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's clean, super easy. This is awesome. No, yeah.
Don't usually do them this
I love
nice,
the doors. Did you put these doors in? Didn't you?
but replace them.
Yeah, you replaced them all. Huh?
Yep.
Those are nice. 3-panel solid hollow core doors. They're really nice. Yeah. Ooh, like the hardware. Okay. Cool. Thank you for showing this to me.
Yeah.
Is the other one kind of similar to the first one? I think there's
It's like I have a few clients that bought those over there.
Yeah, sure.
I was like, I knew there's a lot of rent. Very few people out here own and live in their property. So I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
I've
never
seen
going to have a problem. The city's never going to come knocking on my door here.
right.
So
because-
I'm probably going to be able to get away with that for indefinitely.
yeah.
And so I was like, no, this is fine. And I'll still find good enough tenants to come live out here.
So it's mostly investors buying out here then, and that's similar to what we saw in Provo then.
Yeah, there's a lot of investors
Yeah.
all over.
Okay.
So many rentals. We're
Yeah.
a very high renter in Provo.
This particular part, gotcha. Now,
Yeah.
how do you think that changes in, say, Pleasant Grove or Lehi? Is that,
Far less.
would you say
Far
almost the
less.
opposite?
You're still going to have rentals everywhere,
Yeah.
but for sure the percentage is
More homeowners
drastically
every-
way more homeowners.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll still see a pop up of a lot of basement apartments that are getting more like necessary almost to be like we can't
Right.
afford anything unless you have somebody supplementing that.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of those, but like full house rentals,
Yeah.
you know, here you can go literally in that zone that you guys were.
Yeah.
You could go down and be like 9 rentals and 1 homeowner, maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
And up
that's
there,
me.
it's going to be the other way around.
The other, yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout yourself out. How
Yeah.
do people get in touch with you?
Honestly, I just pulled my website down. I'll maybe put it back up
What's your phone
eventually.
number if you want?
But
People can call
number's
and text.
801-898-6218. Like I said, do a lot of Utah County.
That's awesome.
Salt
Tell me your
Lake as
name.
well. Josh Zipro. Sorry, yep, backwards.
That's all good. That's all good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. This
No,
is
you
really,
bet.
really insightful. So, recon is exactly this. This is not what we want. This is what we want. This is not what we want. This is what we want. And usually, you know, you hear high cash flow. Everybody's talking about high cash flow. It's like there's a yeah, but there's a reason why the cash on cash return is higher or whatever, you know? And we want stuff that we're comfortable owning for 20, 30 years, you know, or trading within markets or whatever. So this is not really that, you know? It would be very, very management intensive, and I don't know that it's worth it. So.
Did you like the realtor?
This realtor is phenomenal. Yeah, he's great. He knows what he's doing. Clearly, he's experienced, and that's what you want. You know, you want to meet people and leverage their experience, because you know, they win and commish when you buy, and in the meantime, you learn. That's the whole point. That's like when I started as an agent. It was all about how much can I teach people who were coming to me, and you know, I'd have to teach 20 people to sell 5 something. You know. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Good.
You know? So, but yeah, this was great. He was great. He was on it. See, this is interesting. This is just to get some
Like
newer
you said,
builds.
very pocket, like 2 streets over, and it was like run down.
Yeah.
These are more put together homes.
Yeah, and
I feel like it would hurt the comps, wouldn't it?
yeah, it does. I mean, eventually everything can appreciate, but yeah, I mean, a less homogeneous area is what you're really going to do is you're going to increase your turnover. You know, your tenants are going to leave, and I want to be in those areas where the tenants are like, I want to be here forever, and I don't want to leave, because you know, turnover sucks, especially on houses. I mean, it's one thing if you're doing a turnover on a unit, because what do? You blow paint and carpet and you're done. But if you're renting out a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, you know, there's a lot that a tenant can screw up when they're moving all the time.
Yeah.
So we want to minimize costs, and I think getting basically, dare I say, clickbaited by high cash on cash returns that doesn't show, you know, the value of or the cost of turnover and time and management stuff is dangerous. Right?
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the people who are like, oh yeah, I'm getting this huge cash on cash return or whatever, it's so they're managing it themselves, or there's something illegal going on or whatever. It's fine. Like I'm all for people like individually making money, but you know, to scale with HouseHack, we need institutional grade properties. You know?
Yeah. We need, everything's on the up and up.
Yeah.
Would you like to work in with that realtor in Ogden on Friday?
I don't know that I want to go to Ogden based on what he said. If the person investing in Orem is telling me Ogden sucks, and I think Orem's not that great, then I don't think we're on the right
Yeah.
track there.
Yeah.
So, but let's see how Lehi is. I'm excited about that.
We're gonna go see.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna go see. We have 3 properties in PV.
Okay.
What is it?
Pleasant Grove.
PG. Yeah.
PG.
Pleasant Grove.
Yeah.
1 grandma house in Lehi.
Good. Great. Fantastic. That should be just what we call a wedge. What's a wedge deal? The grandma house.
Yeah. And I like it was a good sign that she called me. She's like, "There's a grandma house. You guys will love it." Like that's a good sign that the realtor understands what we're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, maybe we just need to be upfront and say that. Like we're looking for, you know, grandma's house so we could do some cosmetic reno to.
We tell them that, but sometimes it's like, okay, there's no fixer-uppers on the market now.
But we don't need that.
Yeah,
That's
and
fine.
so then I explain bonus points if there are, but we're looking for the best
necessary.
neighborhoods. That's what we're focused on.
Yeah. High ownership, home ownership rate would be another thing we might want to mention.
High
home ownership rate.
I feel like that's on the front end that I could do a bit better on, is learning the
That's
statistics.
okay.
I just mean like it's learning,
No,
like
that's
refine.
okay. I mean, this is the first time we've gone to, you know, a market where tenants are substantially dominant, and it is so obvious. I mean, there's a reason why, you know, in like rent controlled areas and high rental areas, you know, poverty goes straight up. Home ownership, lifts people out of poverty, or well, I mean, you know, it substantially increases people's net worth.
Yeah.
And then they have more money to spend on whatever their landscaping, you know. And when everybody's home looks nice on the outside or whatever, except that one fixer, people want to go there for Halloween. You know, people want to live there. Their kids are playing outside, whatever, right? Like, it just reduces that turnover because the type of tenant that lives there is less likely to be using the realtor's word transient. You know, oh, okay, I'm done living there. I'm just gonna go get in a like. You almost want to buy in the neighborhoods where people are renting there because they want to be in the neighborhood. They're not renting there because it's the cheapest thing that was available, right? Like that's sometimes people are like, oh, I'm moving to this area. Okay, what's the cheapest thing I can get?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the only reason they're there is the number. That's not what we want. I think what we're looking for is the reason somebody is there renting is because they want to live there. You know, that helps us in the long-term appreciation, and it really lowers the risk. That's the other thing. You know, if you've got thousands of properties, man, you don't want to deal with a ton of evictions and stuff. We need to pay for like TransUnion data and just get credit score by like city. It's like, all right, let's just go where the credit scores are higher.
I'm Janelle.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice.
Thank you, by the way, for doing this.
Of course, I'm really excited. This is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we are. So, boy, there were a lot of different rental strategies folks were telling us about in Provo and
Right.
and Orem. What is it like out here?
So Pleasant Grove is a little different.
Yeah.
You got Orem and Provo's next to all those universities.
Yeah.
So their strategy is a lot different because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
looking for college students. Here it's more family and those type of renters. So
Got it. And
different.
you do property management as well?
I do.
And so, what are the usual management fees out here? Is it like 6-7% of rents,
Yeah,
or
about
okay,
6
got
to
it.
7%.
Got it.
5 to 7%.
5 to 7, and then
Yeah.
plus like a re-rental fee or whatever when you have a transition, or is that generally included out here?
You know what? I actually don't know on the residential side. So
Oh God, do you generally do multifamily
Commercial.
or commercial? Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
How does this area compare to Lehi, which I think we're also going to next?
yes, we're going
okay.
to Lehi next. So I brought all the numbers because
Oh, sweet. Okay,
I
thank you
saw
for
you
that.
guys are big numbers guys. So
Thanks for that. Yeah.
we can look at the numbers here.
Sure.
So in Pleasant Grove, sorry, you're looking at rental rates or you want to see
Whatever you've got, you can tell
Okay.
me. It's fine. Yeah.
So with median sold price in Pleasant Grove, we're going by quarter here as of 2020.
Sure.
But last quarter was 574
Mm-hmm.
or 575.
Okay.
So those are the.
And what would these usually rent for? Like a 3 and 2 out here?
So I also got that for you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for that.
So off of KSL, that's mostly where people go for rentals.
Is it
Depending
part
on the
of-
type of home you're looking at, these are the different type of rates.
Is
So
this
kinda
part
just
of your
take a
MLS?
screen. No, that's just
KSL is sort of like local for rentals, basically.
Yes, for
Oh,
Utah.
I see. Okay. So 2s and 1s, 1400s. That's kind of like what we just saw at the 2 and 1. And do a lot of the is there a certain age point where you get almost always basement expectations, or does Pleasant Grove have basements or not really?
Yeah, Pleasant
they-
Grove has basements
oh, you do? Okay.
typically.
So 2,500 for like a 3 and 2 is an example listing over here. You've got the apartment buildings, the 2s and 1s, 3s and 1s are 14, 13, 15. Okay. All right, got it. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So and then what is this that we're in right now? It's a 3 and 2, or sorry, I'll hand
It's
that back to you.
okay.
Yeah.
There were so many listings. Let me check.
Yeah, no worries.
So this one is 7 bedrooms, 3 full baths because they include the basement. So
Got
there's
it.
4 bedrooms in the basement.
And is that pretty normal that you have that many rooms in a house out here?
Yes.
Okay,
In
got
Pleasant
it.
Grove, yeah.
Okay, is that different than from
Typically
Lehi?
from 5 to 7 bedrooms.
5 to 7. Wow. Okay. And that's a Pleasant Grove thing. No, do people generally commute out here, or what do they do in Pleasant Grove?
Commuters,
Yeah.
a lot of, I mean, not
little bit of
really
everything.
that far. A lot of people work here in Lehi or
Okay.
by the point of the mountain. That's where a lot of jobs are.
Got it.
So-
Got it. And where's that?
Oh, from
Let me-
here,
yeah,
it's a little bit north, about 20 minutes. So not too far.
Let me see. Okay, so if I go, so
we're here.
Mhm.
If you go northwest, this is Lehi and the point of the mountain, Thanksgiving Point, point of the mountain. This separates Salt Lake County to Utah County. So a lot of people commute here for work. I mean, people have various jobs, and there's a lot of jobs in Utah County.
So this is maybe where like the tech jobs are that people talk
Yes,
about, and that
yeah.
I see. Okay, and then I heard good things about, say, like Alpine. Is that
yeah.
generally the? What, okay, got it.
Alpine, Highland, Cedar Hills. A lot of those people are entrepreneurs, business owners, startup companies.
So
kind of
that's
free
maybe
from
where
there.
you're going to get some higher rents and
Well,
okay.
you're getting bigger homes, bigger price points. higher
Got
rents.
it. Everything's more expensive. Okay, got it.
I grew up in Highland, so
Oh,
love
did
that
you?
area. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so where would you, if you were going to buy rental property yourself, where would you choose to buy it?
Well, it really depends on what type of renter you're looking for.
Sure, like stable, like not going to move every semester.
Right?
yeah.
Anywhere north Utah County. So that would be Linden, American Fork, Lehi, Highland, Cedar Hills, Pleasant Grove.
Okay,
That's
got
where
it,
I
got
would
it. So from
personally
like, so we're like at the edge of the beginning of that, basically.
Well, Linden, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, got you. Okay. And then Highland, you said that's where you grew up.
Yep.
Got it. And how does Highland compare to Lehi?
So Highland is generally more established.
Okay.
How does it compare? I mean, they're both very similar with incomes. If you're
Okay.
looking at the home income levels and all that, they're pretty comparable.
Okay, got it. And then where's the one house that you were going to show us in Lehi? Where's that one?
Oh yeah, so that one, if I can remember off the top of my head, it's over by. Yeah, so it's in this general area.
Okay, got it. So that is probably, maybe within 8 minutes or so of Highland. That's actually pretty close to Highland.
Yeah, about
Okay.
10, 15 minutes.
10, 15, okay.
Depending on
Okay,
where you're
got
at in Lehi.
Is there like a
Lehi's
particular
fairly big.
downtown, or are these all suburbs really over here that you're going to get more?
So, Lehi has a little main street downtown. It's really cute.
Okay.
Highland does not. Highland, you can drive from one end to the other end in about 7 minutes. It's
Oh, wow.
more residential.
Okay, yeah.
It does have like shopping, like a little grocery store and
Plazas
stuff.
and that, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
Alpine's the same way. It has more of plazas and things.
Got it. Okay.
But you're not gonna have like a downtown like.
No,
I don't know if
that's
you
okay.
went
You
to
just go to
Provo.
Salt Lake.
If
Yeah.
you went to Provo downtown, there's
We drove through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
I mean,
okay.
that's
Gotcha.
pretty similar to how Lehi Main Street looks.
And then I heard there's some new construction kind of expanding out towards Eagle Mountain. Does it
Yep, Saratoga Springs and Eagle Mountain. Lots of new construction going on over there. So
is that deemed to still be pretty much on the fringe and like further for people to go, or
I've noticed a lot of people moving out there because
you
the
have? Okay.
price points are
more affordable then?
more affordable. But
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, let's we'll take a quick peek at this one. So this I'm noticing in this particular part, a lot of almost every house we've been in has been added onto. Provo, Orem, and here. Do you get that also over in Highland and Lehi?
Yeah, you'll get people to
Yeah.
add stuff to
Is
their
that pretty
house.
common?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay, got it. So, oh wow, there's a lot that's over here. So you've got family room, and then basements. Okay, wow. Okay, what about your typical like renter or buyer out here? I may have already asked you. Did you say they're commuting, or are there a lot of jobs out here too?
There are a lot of jobs out here, so a lot of times people will just work in the area.
Okay.
And
Just
it's
work
just-
local here.
yeah.
Okay, got it. And then this lot size pretty typical for Linden?
For Pleasant Grove,
or
Linden,
Pleasant Grove
yeah.
for Linden area.
Yes,
Okay.
this is pretty typical. This one I was kind of gearing more towards your guys' criteria of
Sure.
something either run down or whatever.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a lot of still original elements on a house like this, right? I mean, you've got the original doors, you've got the original tiling that we can, either glaze or replace, like the tub and that. So a lot of original elements here, but so far not been super enthused by the markets. So we'll see. I'm excited to see Lehi in that area. This almost looks like they somehow got power themselves to maybe an extra unit or something. I don't know how they pulled that off, but I've never seen an electrical meter with exposed Romex essentially like this, and it's the older fiber Romex outside, and it's going over towards the garage over here. Some some funky things going on out here. But it's the market, and that's what I'm finding is just so far Provo, Orem, and even here you're getting some of that funk, dare I say. You know, I mean, this is funky. You get a beautiful house over here, and you know, it's just not very clearly homogenous, I guess I should say. Makes it a little tougher. All right, tougher to make sure you're good on your values and your rents. Recommended this place called, what was it, Highland?
Highland. So the Highland has the stigma. She said the higher price one. It's because that's where like people from Provo don't like people from Highland.
Yeah,
Because
I can
that's
tell.
where the rich kids are.
Yeah. Okay, I want to go there.
Yeah. Well, that
Let's go there.
I guess after looking at the poverty rates, I guess it's understandable.
Yeah.
Why?
The numbers were not rigged. They were accurate. Well, this looks like a nice home. So this home was obviously built more recently, but a lot of the homes around it look like 40s, 50s. So is that just people coming in, buying a lot, and then custom building the way they want it?
A lot of it was, a lot of this used to be farmland. So
okay,
it's
got
just
it.
depended on how the,
Who owned the land when
Yeah,
they sold it.
exactly,
Got it.
exactly.
So you didn't really get subdivisions. It was just more whenever people built.
right. We have more subdivisions now that are building more tract home type,
Okay.
but yeah.
And where
kind of
would
that.
those usually be?
Oh, lots of different areas.
Oh,
There's
okay.
one
Oh, yeah.
here in Pleasant Grove that was like built back in 2010
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
type, and then they have like custom homes that are being built
I see.
super
Okay.
close to the mountain. They're super pretty. So
So the closer to the mountain, that seems to be a theme. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh.
trick with the lights. Here
Oh, there we go. Okay, so here's your more traditional, more open floor plans. And so, yeah, I guess if you get a newer one mixed in with the older ones, and they also kind of customized it here with the kitchen, it's gonna be a little harder to comp, but not impossible. Okay. The Lehi one that you said, the grandma style one,
Yes.
is that one in a tract? Or how does that one work?
That one, you know, I haven't had time to
No, yeah,
to
no
test
worries.
to look at it, so we'll have to see when we get over there.
Okay.
I'll have to see what subdivision it's in.
Yeah, no worries.
I also want to show you this. This is the Airbnb market
Oh,
in
wow,
Pleasant
okay.
Grove where we're at.
Okay.
So just to give you kind of an idea on the short-term rental
What's
side
available.
of things. Yeah, what's available.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, let's go check out Lehi. It's supposed to be getting nicer
That's what I.
in this direction.
Hey, look at that! We turn the corner and it's normal American housing. Forget the farm and the party bus back there. We got housing.
Oh, that's a nice real estate sign. Look at that. Wrought iron. So this is Lehi. Is it all kind of like this?
No, Lehi's not all like this. This there are newer parts of Lehi.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
yeah,
Lehi's
sure.
huge.
Like any area. Yeah.
It's vacant, so we're good.
All right. Okay. Huh. So, very interesting. I have to admit, I mean, it's got like the perfect characteristics of grandma's home. But, okay, so, and then this, it's so interesting seeing just the basements. I'm going to go down. I'm going to look at least one basement. But
I hope you come back up. Kevin.
yeah, I know. You can tell somebody's used it frequently. How interesting. Okay. Let's see what we got. Lou? Uh-huh. Unfinished.
It just feels like someone's here, though.
Oh, yeah, it does.
there's a feeling.
Okay, so like these are so I would guess what a lot of people try to do is turn these into finished units, but it's tough. I mean, they've got all the equipment in the middle out here. You've got the sink and the toilet.
Kevin, this is
This
a
is like-
finished bathroom, if you ask me.
Yeah, this is good enough. Oh, sorry, I'm just using the restroom here. Wow. Okay, so yeah, they could say they added a toilet. So, I mean, I would imagine people try to finish these off pretty regularly,
Yes.
huh? Yeah.
And that's what adds to the bedrooms of most of the square footages. Like this one's a 3-bed, 2-bath, but they don't have anything on the basement because none of it's finished.
So you could finish it off, at least
yeah.
where the systems are not. Okay. I mean, there's plenty of room down here, and they've got the iron I-beam, so structurally it doesn't seem like there'd be an issue as long as you're not removing anything. How's the city with that out here?
I'd have to talk to Lehi
Yeah.
City, but a lot of times you could do separate levels where you have a mother-in-law in the basement, have a full kitchen, bedrooms, bathrooms down here, and block it off separate to the upstairs. But that's based on city, so you have to go city by city.
Yeah, yep, sure. Okay, good to know. Very cool. All right, let me see the rest of the upstairs. Let's see. Oh, I like the old yellow paint. The doors used to be yellow. They forgot to finish cleaning it up. These are an interesting way to try to add storage. See, like they had this in the kitchen too. It's like another way to get storage. I don't know why, but you know, some people just like that. That's the storage.
It's for the old folks so they don't fall over.
Yeah.
The other house has one too. I've never seen these in a house like that.
Grab
On
bars.
the outside. I thought this was like a shower or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Huh. All
I've
right.
never seen them in the hallways.
Yeah.
Only in Utah.
This is where she bought the dip. That's where she bought the dip.
This is where she got dead. All right. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Well, so that's good to know. So really, these are all custom homes out here because this is not a standard floor plan the way this is. And so is that pretty consistent in Lehi and Pleasant Grove?
It's
or
area by
just-
area
is it? Okay,
because
that's the
I
street
mean
history.
you can drive on Timpanogos Highway and
Yeah.
see cookie cutter homes, which
Sure.
are their tract homes, but then you get out to areas like this and it's very custom. So
pretty
really
much
depends.
the when would you start seeing the tracks like 2000s plus out here? Not so much 70s, 60s. Didn't really get that as much.
Yeah,
More
or
converted farmland,
You
huh?
can find some tracks that are
Okay.
older, but not typical.
Would that be more like what's your typical in like Alpine or was it Highlands? The other?
Yeah, those are all custom.
They're all custom as well?
Mostly custom.
Okay.
You don't
got it.
really get tracked in Alpine, especially.
Got it. So it's almost sort of like Utah County is very much. It was farms. Then it was sort of chopped up, and everybody built whatever they wanted, sort of thing.
Pretty much.
Got it.
Pretty much.
That answers it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know. Thank you so much. You
Yeah,
were really, really helpful.
you so much, guys.
Could you shout yourself out?
Oh, of
maybe
course.
Your name and number.
Yeah, my name is Janelle McComb with ERA Brokers Consolidated. My brand is Sell with Janelle. You can follow me on YouTube and Instagram, Sell with Janelle. And I work, phone number, 858-951-8200. Also, my 801 number is 801-739-7900. I work in Salt Lake County and Utah County.
All right, we think we figured it out, and it took a little bit of time to figure it out, but I think we finally figured it out. It seems like this whole Utah County area, which is different from Salt Lake, it's that area south of it, right? It seems like this whole area was once farmland, and many areas were once farmland, but there was never a master plan to send in, developers and let them build out certain neighborhoods or tracts. Instead, it seems like over time the farms were sold off and people just custom built whatever they wanted to. And a lot of these homes have very funky floor plans because people's tastes change over time, and generally when people build individual homes, they design them for themselves and not for resale purposes. That creates risk. Anytime you have a non-standard product, you create risk because what if you have a 3 and 2 that you've comped against 10 other 3 and 2s, and you think your ARV, your after repair value is X, but then you didn't adjust for the fact that yours has a funky floor plan, but maybe you didn't even know your floor plan was funky until you went and tried to rent it out, and everybody's leaving after 6 months because it's just a toxic floor plan or whatever. I mean, hopefully you could figure that out beforehand, but to be extreme, let's say you couldn't, it introduces risk. Whereas if you have developers come in, and this is why I love tract homes so much, I don't care what year it was. You can have a 1912s tract home, 1920s, you could do 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it doesn't matter. But when you get tracts, you get consistent floor plans and replicable comps. Those are the most important things about real estate, because sometimes you're not going to get a lot of comps even in tracts. I would much rather very recent model match comps of what I'm trying to buy to make sure I'm minimizing my risk or potentially completely eliminating my risk while maximizing my upside in real estate. like here's what looks like maybe a 2015 style tract over here. So much easier to comp homes there than in the neighborhood where we just were, because everybody's got a unique floor plan, and the house across the street is from the 40s. The guy across the street from there has a bus in his driveway. The one across the street from there is a brand new build. It's like, how do you adjust for all that? I would hate to be an appraiser in this area, because your life would be so difficult. And anytime you make your life more difficult, I think sometimes people think, oh, you just want to be lazy, so you don't want to do more work doing comps. Why don't you just do cost per square foot? It's like, oh my gosh, real estate doesn't work that way. Like you do cost per square foot works when you have a warehouse, when you have office space, or if you have retail, you look at front foot. Fine. Here, single family, no. You've got to look, ideally, very similar properties, mitigate your risk, simple. And then you do the same thing with rentals, and then you know what you're getting into. You know if the numbers are going to work before you ever buy it. But because out here, this is a very non-standardized county. The entire county is like this. People are basically doing whatever the F they want. People are converting stuff without permits. People are, renting, bedrooms in half, or throwing up walls. I don't even know if that's safe. Like, if you do that, do you even have egress for both of them for fire codes? And then, then you're like, oh, well, how many times have properties burned down? Oh, well, we just happen to be right next to one, the first property we saw in this county. So, and then you think about the insurance liability of running an potentially operation that's not, up to code. It's just there's so much risk. I think, hey, the one-offs, fine, great, yeah, talk about all your cash flow. But for long-term scalability, I'd rather maximize my appreciation and minimize my downside risk. That's really what I care about. And it is way too non-standardized here for us to be able to do that. Whereas you go look at a master planned community like Summerlin in Vegas, so much easier. You just go tract by tract, and you've got plenty of comps in each neighborhood, in each market, each particular, let's say, subdivision. Plenty of comps, plenty of easy things to look at for rental comparisons. And people know the neighborhoods really well. Like, oh yeah, that builder was great. Oh, that builder was bad. Here, you don't know who built every house, because every house was built by somebody else. Maybe they slapped it together themselves. And I'm not saying that's bad. Hey, the realtors have been really, really nice and transparent about it all. I now understand why a lot of the agents say they represent Utah County and Salt Lake County, because quite frankly, you're probably getting a different clientele in Salt Lake County, one that is looking for that more sort of consistent tract home, and that's kind of us. So it doesn't surprise me to see them diversify away from potentially some of the more challenging areas to comp. More challenging areas to comp means lower liquidity, which means it's harder to sell the properties. It's harder to find buyers for the properties. All of it. You just stay away from risk, especially in real estate. You're supposed to diversify into real estate for less risk, not more real estate, in my opinion. That's my take. So, anyway, that's my summary of what was this place called, Utah County. Yeah. You know what I was just thinking of is, it feels like there's almost no enforcement. Like there is no code enforcement. Like there is no city that's like towing abandoned vehicles or trying to actually clean stuff up. This entire Utah County area, it feels, I don't want to say lawless. It just feels building department-less. Like there's no such thing as building and safety out here. You just have building. There's no consistency. Again, people are just sort of doing whatever they want, which, yeah, like that's freeing. Yay, America, free. But then it also turns into this, which is very difficult to reliably invest in, and then it actually depresses the potential value for the people who live there. It makes it harder for them to build more wealth because the area doesn't stay as desirable as it potentially could be. This is why we have building and safety departments. Like, look, don't get me wrong, I live in an HOA neighborhood. I don't like that I live in an HOA because I can't do whatever I want. But if everybody pulled a Kevin in their neighborhood, you'd have people, doing crazy shit in their neighborhood all the time. They drive go-karts everywhere. Shouldn't do it.
Maybe here's an interesting correlation. Utah County violent crime is 8.1. The U.S. average is 22.7. I wonder if because there is so little crime, that so little like law enforcement is needed, or like code enforcement even. Because if there's not a lot of people being hurt, then why would what is there to enforce? Like, does that correlate at all?
I don't think so. It's an interesting idea, but really you're comparing. So when I'm talking about like government, I mean like building and safety, like building inspectors coming out and saying, look, these are the type of homes we'll approve in this area. These are the type of square footages we'll approve. These are the designs we'll approve. These are the bedroom designs we'll approve. I don't know that you necessarily... you could have highly regulated areas like parts of New York that are super high crime, a lot of code enforcement. And then you could have super low crime areas like Ventura, very high code enforcement. But those are, I think, pretty different, because your one's building enforcement, the other one is basically just crime enforcement, policing, right? Both of them are a style of police power, so there's definitely that overlap, right? The city provides police power to code enforcement, who can walk around with a gun too, a gun and a badge, just like cops do. So they're very similar, and that's an interesting idea. It's one I've never thought about before, so I'd give it some more thought before I definitely poo-poo it. But yeah, I don't know about that. Usually, let's put it this way, I would say there's a larger correlation between poverty and lack of tax revenue for the government, which means less capability of actually managing the city properly, which then means the city becomes even less desirable. And see, that tends to be the phenomenon known as the concentration of poverty. Poor areas become poorer. This is an example, in my opinion, of that. And don't get me wrong, some of these homes are still like $600,000-$700,000 because I think you're inflated by room rents. Everybody's renting stuff out by the room, because of all the college students. So you're artificially making people feel like they can, make more money out here, and it's driving up the values. But I don't know that the wealthy people are spending money here, which is leading to less of that city income tax revenue. And so then they don't have the money to enforce building codes. And so they're just like, whatever, look, we got one lady at the building and safety counter, like, she'll give you a thumbs up or thumbs down, but we need our permit fee, And
the thing is, like, if somebody's renting, like, I don't know, I just feel like the desire to want to improve the house or the room up to code is almost not there, because it's like, okay, like,
yeah, it's just not profitable. Like,
yeah,
that's the other thing is, you go to let's say the city I live in, there's a huge value to bringing everything up to code, because the buyer who's coming in will pay a premium for knowing everything is like legal and up to code. Californians, it's everything's gotta be perfect. Like California, right? And I'm being extreme on purpose. Whereas in a poor area, people are like, no, I don't care if it's not permitted. I just want to get in cheaper. I'm not saying that's bad. It's just, it's more risky because you're hurting your potential upside and appreciation. Again, everything kind of floats up together, right? But certain areas will absolutely retain their value, and in the long term be worth a lot more. It's very difficult to look at like the last 5 years of appreciation because COVID screwed everything up. So it made the historical trends really difficult. Now you have to adjust for work from home, but then you also have to adjust for going back to the office. And then where are the office developments going? Oh no, well now we're going through tech layoffs. So everything's a little jiggered up right now.
I understand. I think the poverty rate is the poverty statistic is a lot better for code enforcement than crime would be.
Oh yeah.
I think that's...
Yeah, right. Because the poverty rate is directly associated with your income, which is directly associated with tax revenue at the city.
Yeah, I think those three, like the three key indicators before we go to any market, for whatever reason, we decided to make an exception for Provo, but it just goes to show that we should not make exceptions for those three key indicators of population, poverty, and median income.
Well, and the thesis that we had was, college area, the poverty rate's probably higher because every kid in college is technically in poverty. Well, not every kid, but most kids going to college technically below the poverty line. It's because you're going to college. Like, that makes sense. You have a part-time job and you're making $8,000 a year or $12,000, whatever, of course. So, but yeah, no, we were wrong. The metric held true. The formula is still accurate. All right, so we saw Provo, Orem, Lehi. We came to look at real estate. We saw real estate. This is definitely an area where there's a lot less standardization, increases our risk. And something to remember about HouseHack is we've got to prove our model with the lowest amount of risk first. Then when we prove the model with the lowest amount of risk first, which obviously I've already done on a small scale, which now we want to scale, we prove that with the lowest amount of risk, then maybe we could diversify into areas that are maybe a little bit less standardized. But for now, we'll probably have to back burner a Provo and the Orem as well as Lehi markets. But you know what? We're not going to say never. So maybe we'll be back. We'll definitely be back to Utah, especially Salt Lake, looking at Sugar House, Holiday, Mill Creek. We'll check those areas out again. And then, of course, we'll be skiing Park City.